want to know how to cook good steak? I know I do. So that's what I'll be doing today. I'm going to show you how to cook a good pan-seared steak. Alright, first thing you want to do, get your steak, get it out of the wrapping. Now, I have a New York strip here with me today. Hey, but you can use just about any steak that you like, but I prefer a good New York strip or a good ribeye. Those are the two best that I would say for pan-searing. Now, what you're going to need today is you're going to need a steak, you're going to need thyme, garlic, salt, pepper, butter, and olive oil. Now, after you get your steak, take it out of the wrapping, it's probably best that you make sure that your pan warms up for about 3 to 5 minutes, so that way it can get up to temperature. Along with your steak, you want to make sure that you get your steak out about 20 minutes early, so that way you can make sure that it gets up and cooks well, so that way the inside is not undercooked after. So you want to make sure to get some olive oil in your pan. And you want to make sure to get that all around. You want to make sure that gets all over around in the pan. And cast iron is usually best for doing something like this. But I today have a non-stick and I'm using olive oil to add the flavor to the steak. So next thing you do is you make sure you get your salt and your pepper. You make sure to add pretty heavily, so that way you can rub it into the steak. That's really good right there. That's some salt. Because you lose about 80% of your seasoning in cooking, so that's why you want to make sure that you add plentiful amount of seasoning onto your steak. That looks pretty good. Add a nice generous amount. Alright. Now I can't emphasize enough how good it is to make sure that you leave your steak out a little bit early, so that way it's able to get up to room temperature. Next thing you do, set it away from you so that way it doesn't burn when you lay it in. Because if you lay it in towards you, you just splash olive oil or grease or whatever you have searing in your pan all around. You want to make sure that it keeps the steak moving. You want to also make sure that around every 40 seconds you're making sure to flip the steak side on side, so that way it doesn't burn too much on one side. Because it's best to make sure that your steak is cooked on both sides, because you want to make sure that the middle is a nice texture, a nice taste. Now, I prefer my steak to medium rare, so that is what we will be cooking ours today at. Now, alright. Now, you're going to want to make sure that you flip your steak about 5 to 6 times, so that way that the steak can get a nice even cooking on the inside of it. And I have here with me a stopwatch, so that way I can time how long it takes before it flips, so that way I can get the best cooking out of the steak. Next thing you probably want to do, after you get about a few flips in there, so about now, get another flip in there. That's probably a little bit early, but it's alright. Now, next thing would be to make sure to add some butter to your pan, but a little early for that, so I'm just not going to add that. So, the question I have for you is, are you a steak person? Would you eat steak? I do. I would. That's why I'm making it. That's why I'm showing you today. And you want to make sure that with your steaks, that you're making sure that each side is getting split, even the sides. So like right here, you want to make sure that you get it flipped up. Sorry, I cannot get it with these tongs. Right there. You want to make sure to sear the sides, so that way the sides get even a nice sear. You want to work the edges of the steak as well, to give it a good cook. Alright. Because if you don't cook the outside, then you're not going to get as good of a cook on the inside as well. Now, there's a few ways that you can know if your steak is cooked. You can time it, as I'm doing, or you can feel it, because the veins in your hand are actually very similar to the texture of beef. So right now, you feel your palm. This is about where rare would be. If you feel here, it's a little bit more rare. Then you get to medium rare. Feel on your palm. Then you get to medium, and then you get to well. And about where your steak would be at that point. You can also feel your steak. Make sure that it's at that temperature. And we'll make sure right there, a little bit on the cooked side for that side. So now, add your butter into your pan. Now, another good thing that I like to add to my steaks is I like to use thyme, because thyme gives it just a nice little bit of earthy flavor. Top a little bit, alright. And then another good thing that you can make sure to add to your steak is garlic. Now you want to make sure that you crush your garlic as you get the juices and the flavor from the inside of the garlic into the pan. You want to make sure you baste your steak in the butter too. So you want to make sure you scoop it out, scoop it onto your steak a little bit. You then spread it around. Because when you do that, you get even a nice buttery texture and taste to the steak as well. So, just about what you need to know. Now, there's a few other things you can do. You can season with any other kind of seasoning that you really like, and you can also cook it in any other way that you like. But this is how I prefer it, and this is how you make the ideal little pan-seared steak, in my opinion. Then your sides a little bit more. So, just by the looks of the steak, I can tell that it's probably just about done, in my opinion. So I got one more flip left in it. I prefer to use a gas stove, but today with me here, I only have an electric stove. So you want to make sure that you turn off the stove, get it all set. Alright. Really rub the garlic into it. Gives it that nice garlicky flavor. Alright. And set your steak out.